Alrighty. Looks like we're live. Welcome, guys. My name is Gabriel Quinn. I am a illustrator, artist. I do visual development for animation. I work in games sometimes. And yeah, today we're going to be working on this fun painting, maybe another painting. I don't know. We're going to keep this stream pretty darn short today. I was pretty pressed for time today, but I didn't want to break my streak, man. We've been streaming every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday consistently. So definitely had to jump in, even if it was for a quick live stream. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well today. We have an image here that I've developed. So I developed this a little bit last year, a little bit this year. No, mostly this year, actually. Yeah, so I developed this year, and then kind of like on and off, sort of picking it back up and down as the story for the project has evolved. This is for a project I'm working on with a bunch of sky pirates. I can show a bunch of wacky stuff that I have for them. Bunch of weird, wacky ships and sketches, and the captain of the bad guys, and he's got a flying cat friend, and a bunch of dudes, and this guy who's pretty fun. We love him. Working on this for a while. And we have, this epic moment of conflict. And I just thought it would be fun for about an hour, maybe less, actually. It's going to be a pretty short live stream. For about an hour, just to talk about, like, hey, painting for visual development, working on color keys, all of that stuff. Like, it's a lot. So we want to definitely cover some of that stuff. Color keys and keyframes are not my specialty. It's something that I do and I love doing, but it's not the main thing that I do as an artist. So, Emmy's in the chat. Welcome, Emmy. Cool. Yeah, I'll just drop that I'm live in a couple areas. Pretty fun. But yeah, so this I developed. This was kind of like a Frankenstein idea, when an idea kind of evolves over time. Also, sorry if you hear any yelling. I have a courtyard-facing apartment in New York City, and it's Friday night, so people are having a pretty good time. So if you hear any screaming or yelling faintly in the background, it's my lovely neighbors who are having a joyful time, and good for them. Good for them for having a good time. But apologies if it's distracting at all. Let's see. All right, yeah, let's drop this here. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this here image. Luke said if there's any yelling, it's me. So I have a couple really, really good friends visiting me right now. Luke Amerland and Misei Seki, a couple fantastic artist friends. They're wonderful. They're great. We love them. And they're with me today. So that's why I didn't hop on earlier. We're just squeezing in a little evening stream. Had to work on some fun stuff with you guys at some point today, and we want to keep this consistent. So every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, it's been really good for me, and I want to continue. So how did we get to this image? This image started as I was kind of developing my skills in sweet, Zella and Nabs are here. Awesome, welcome guys. So this image started as I was developing and working on it during a mentorship actually. So I was doing a mentorship with Iris Muddy, who's a very, very skilled visual development artist, concept artist, all the above. She's fantastic. And while I was on that mentorship with her, I started branching out, really developing my sort of keyframe storytelling skills. And I'll walk you through kind of the evolution of this idea. So believe it or not, it started with this sketch. Haha, Tyrion Genie's in the chat. Welcome. Oh, we're later today. We might catch some of the LA folks. Who knows? But yeah, so this sketch was a lot of fun to do. This was kind of the idea of like this duel is happening in this grand, almost like circus-esque giant tent, this like really fun idea of like a pirates festival of good fun, a good sportsmanship pirates festival. Like there's duels that happen all for sport, of course, and like tryouts for joining pirate crews. And I wanted this really fun idea. So I did this idea, and then I thought, okay, well, what's happening way up high? Because if this is what's happening, down below, maybe there's stuff happening like in the rafters, and there's like multiple different sort of cool layers of things going on. Let's just double check everything's running smooth. Okay, sweet. Zell's from the Midwest. Nice. Excellent. So then I was thinking, well, what's happening if it's like really up high? Maybe you see like a poster for what's happening. And then I wanted to bring it into the world of color, as we often want to do. So bam, I sort of took the idea and pushed it, changed the angle, and kind of wanted maybe like crowds of people going like, oh yeah, you want to win, I want you to win, practicing some of my lighting back here, just dropping some shapes in the frame. This is like super rough stuff, right? This is the kind of thing you do when you just want to put the idea down, see if it's going to work, blah, blah, blah. Then I decided, because it's never good enough, right? So I pushed it even more. Oh, well, what if the character's like really cool and it was more distinct, right? So going from kind of like, oh, this duel is about to happen to like, ooh, this is like a showdown maybe between like two rival crews or something cool. Oh, HG's in the chat. Welcome, HG. And then after that, I was like, maybe I want it to be even more intense, like a really intense thing. So shifted the angle, simplified everything down, and this is actually quite a nice composition, highest points of contrast are closest to us, but we still don't lose our secondary point of focus. And this kind of works like on either side, right? So it's kind of like either, she's kind of in the more protagonist situation, or maybe we flip it and it's kind of like, oh no, like we maybe identify with this guy a little bit more, or we think like this is like an imposition or something. Abe's in the chat. Let's go. I was playing League and a small earthquake hit. Oh my goodness. Midwestern boys. That's hilarious. Oh man, my dad was born in Ohio, so there you go. It's hilarious. Oh, Corey's in the chat. Corey's a very good buddy of mine. Let's go, Corey. Nice. Had to make sure I finished on a win. Dude, that's the worst mentality with games, is to be like, well, I just gotta finish on a win. So, okay, we kind of have all these elements here. We have this image where there's this epic grand duel, and I thought to myself, okay, well, let's just keep messing around. So I kind of took some of the elements, and then I just kind of like slapped some stuff on top, and bam, what happened? So same bones, right? Same bones of the thing. So this image, I have elements here, big banners, it's in this vast space. You see all this stuff, right? Maybe a cave or something. And then bam. Bam. All of a sudden, there's so much drama. And this was me just basically lasso tool, part round, just like scribbling stuff. This is just a scribble idea, right? And his cape is kind of weird and all that stuff. And then as I continued to push it, I was like, all right, let's say there's other guys. Like there's like a threat. Maybe something's about to go down. And then as I kind of figured it out, the idea, I was like, all right, well, let's relate. Corey said, I'm so glad he didn't make a Corey in the house joke. That's so funny. Well, you've made the joke now, so unfortunately, you're done, buddy. You're done. So I figured like, okay, there's like a showdown about to happen during this like burning thing, right? And then we jump to what we're working on now. We've pushed it stylistically, so if we kind of like flip back and forth, right? We've extended the edges, so it's a bit more cinematic, even more cinematic, right? To fit on our book page composition. And we've kind of amped some things up. We've added some more flames, some reflections on the weapons and whatnot. So I was thinking we would work on this a little bit more today, but yeah, honestly, we can just kind of talk about keyframes. We could even just come up with some ideas even. We can go through that process, right? Of like story and all that stuff. I mean, just kind of getting like a sense from the chat, like, do you guys want to see a little bit more development on this piece, or would you guys kind of be more down to come up with some fresh ideas, some fresh sketches, some fresh compositions, some fun stuff? We can do either or. I'm not picky myself. I'm also gonna mute myself really quick while I take a little bite of my snack. All right, Corey has spoken. We're gonna do some new sketches, just for fun, you know. It's all for fun. So, one of the core conflicts here in this story of these sky pirates is like the dynamic between these two kind of here, let's save this out so I have this. Close it up. Boom, baby. Switch over to our main file. So, the main conflict between these two kind of like core families. So, we sort of have like the captain of these very punkish, strange kind of pirates, you know, with their big, intense ship and like their weird, wacky folks. Like they're strange and kind of intense. I have kind of a scribbled out sort of, oh, well, this was a whole other illustration I was working on, but yeah, a whole kind of like conflict between these like punky pirates. It's kind of the vibe, you know, a lot of spikes, a lot of leather, a lot of black. And then the kind of circusy pirates who, I was lining these guys up before, who were pretty darn fun, right? They're very circusy and exciting, and they had to turn to a life of piracy in order to sustain their clan, basically, because their circus was burned down by the bad pirates or whatever, right? Yeah, the core family with Papa Leo and the wife and the sisters. It's pretty fun. So we had some ideas maybe for some other stuff. Oh, HG says these are so vibrant. Do you work on them separately from the beginning, or do you put them next to each other like in a storyboard when you start? Well, so at the very early stages of developing a project, most companies and most people, maybe the script's not done, maybe they don't know what it is, they're starting with an idea, right? And that idea is really open. So part of how people find the idea for the story is actually just by coming up with paintings and images, just kind of fun. Like you find the idea as you go. You see what's working, you see what sparks that sense of joy, and you keep going. So let's see what we could do, maybe come up with some fun ideas. I'm thinking like a cool idea for a composition. Gosh, this file is getting so big. Oh, we got some fun folks in the chat. Let's go. All right, let's see. Angie says, why is this guy being singled out? Why does he get all the attention? Yeah, you know, it's a great question. We'll definitely have to place some kind of protagonist importance for sure. But what I was actually hoping to do was I added another kind of person over here, and I was thinking I would add some more of the circus family behind as I continued with this image. But I think if I want to do that, then I'd want to kind of like start or like actually kind of go in with more intention, rather than just kind of like have something crazy loose like this, maybe a little bit more refined, a little bit more planned. But actually, you know, this is fine also. Willow says, hi everyone, finally able to join a stream again. Oh, cool. It's funny because I'm actually doing student teacher internship, art K-12, and I'm learning right now more teaching than art. Haha, cool. So the art streams are good. Yeah, nice. Very cool. Very cool. So with this idea, let's see. I'm kind of thinking like it would be fun to have a sort of like almost like a interesting kind of down shot. We've done some up shots there. Some kind of down, like perspective down shot, right? So there's the classic shot of like the character standing over the world, you know, and they're standing there, and there's all these vast, you know, valleys and hills, and you're like, this is the character, and they're here, you know. Or If they're not central, then it's like ooh, this is a cliff, and these are the valleys and the mountains, and there's a guy right here with a stick. You know what I mean? Like putting you in the perspective of relating to that person. TXLR says hello. Also, Colin says hello. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the chat. So let's come up with something good. I recently designed a pretty fun idea. Let's see if I can just drag it in here. I don't really want to open any more PSDs, unfortunately. So, yeah, I came up with this idea during one of the 1 hour character challenge streams recently. It was really, really fun. So we in the Discord server that I run through Patreon with like the stream community, we do 1 hour characters 3 times a week, where we design a character in 1 hour from start to finish, and we just kind of chuck it up, and we use some random words and stuff as inspiration. And recently we've been doing, you know, some shorter ones, so like 20 minutes. So for one of the 20 minutes one, I think the prompt was bang and peep. So I was like, all right, let's do this guy who's like a fun scout, right? He's like a scout on like this rocket glider, pretty much. And I'm like, oh, well, this guy's definitely a sky pirate for sure. He has to be a sky pirate. So we can use this kind of as a basis for our keyframe. So we kind of have a prop. We have an idea here, which is cool. So I think even just immediately starting out, what we can do is kind of replicate this out. And we can kind of change the proportions, because this was done in 20 minutes and very, very fast design. And we want to make it a little bit more successful. So proportionally, he's probably a little bit smaller than this on the actual little glider craft guy. His foot's kind of smaller, you know. Maybe the rocket's a little less intense, or maybe it's more intense. You know, we can go either way. And these big wings, man, they definitely have to go big mode, I think, on these. Definitely got to go big mode. Seems like my neighbors have chilled out, you know, but you never know when they're just going to start screaming again. So no promises, I think. But yeah, let's think what opportunities we have here, right? So we have this cool glider that basically like goes, shoots out, and as it shoots out and rockets up, the wings open, right? So when it starts, it's probably something like, let's use a warmer brush so it's in Unity. It's probably something like, you know, swing, and like all the wings are kind of like locked in and stuff. And oh, would they burn if it was a rocket? They probably would burn, wouldn't they? What's the solve there? Definitely want to make sure we're still kind of like in reality. All right, well, let's say it's like a focused cone before it opens up, right? So let's say there's like the enclosure at the end, you know, and it's kind of like and the things are here, so they don't burn. Let's pretend they don't burn. Flame-proof material. Yeah. So like those kind of solutions, like flame-proof material, blah, 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 like it's an immediate thought, and it's like, that will solve your problem, right? Boom, we'll solve your problem. But then it's like, now you have flame-proof material in your world. So now it's like, okay, well, now you can't do this, this, and that, and this, and this, because there's flame-proof material in your world. And it's a good suggestion and a good solution, but you do have to keep in mind what that will change for the rules of the world that you're designing. And if you can solve it with design first, if you can solve it with like, this is believable and this is okay, then that's a really great thing that you can do, for sure. For sure. So yeah, we can even say some of these are maybe like telescopic, right? So they like go like, they also go out. So maybe it's more like a packed billowy, almost like packed sails, you know, when like sails are tied and they flow out. Could be a cool feat of engineering. So they just kind of go shwink and they kind of splay out. So yeah, it fires up, and then it's just kind of smoke, and it goes like. So let's say, and we have this great X shape. So if this were to be head on with you, right? You'd have the rocket, the guy first, the guy who's like, he'd be smaller, obviously. Be a little guy. Big wing, and then smaller wings. So you have this great X shape. So if we're trying to take up a whole keyframe, I kind of want to do an interesting down shot, right? Okay, Zelafe says, then maybe there's a certain risk driving it. Exactly. So now if there's a sense of danger to operating something, that is super in alignment with the more punk pirates, right? The more punk pirate guys, they're super, like they'll take the risk. They'll 100% take the risk. They're crazy. They're wild. Let's see, even one of our core kind of concept pieces. Let's find it. Yeah, even one of our core pieces here. Our boy, Kel, like, he's jumping in, man. He's flying through the sky. Like, he does not care. He's like jumping from a ship to another ship, right? He's like a wild guy. So if he's like super wild, that's the kind of crazy energy we want from these dudes, right? They're very, very reckless. So yeah, with that in mind, we can definitely, let's just cut out all this white actually. We don't need all that for sure. So with this X shape, right? Let's use that to our advantage. So we'll go back to our original sketchy layer. Let's say that we have maybe the back of, well, let's just mess around, right? Maybe we see the back, we see the first wing, and the first wing takes up literally this much of the frame. Maybe same on this side too. Maybe it foreshortens a little towards the end there or something. I don't know, if it was this way, maybe we would see the underside of this one. Limiting view can be a very powerful tool. Okay, let's say we want to do one that was more like let's say we want to do a head-on view. Hey, we see like his little leg going back, his little foot's there, his little posterior would be there. Maybe he's like holding onto his hat or something. Nah. Okay, let's switch to our hard round eraser. Or actually, you know what we could do? We could do a shot where we see one here, and maybe this pilot, he's calling out. It's like a different pilot or something, right? We could do something like that. And on his rocket, ship, he's like taking up maybe like almost the whole bottom portion of the screen, like with like his wings, right? Like huge one. And then on top, we can use one that's going down to use its whole silhouette of all of its wings and even the bottom wings too. That'd be more like, let's review our design. Scoops back a lot. Okay. Maybe his head's poking forward and he's looking. Neon Uwu, welcome to the chat. I think I've seen you here before. Welcome. We're just doing some composition practice right now. Oh, Moth. Welcome, Moth. Oh, all to count. No worries. It's good to see you, Moth. Oh, we want that X, though. We want that cool shape, right? This isn't cool enough. So, like, maybe... maybe he's here. See the bottom, the smoke trailing towards us. We can have that be kind of like hyper towards us, right? And by placing this guy up here, we're doing that great thing, guys, that great rule of thirds thing where something interesting is happening here. That way we can still get that X shape. Zealous is good. I'm taking a break from painting a island turtle. Nice. Take that break, man. We can get this cool X shape down here. Boom, baby. Look at this. So nice. Just received a beautiful message from my love. So grateful. Let's go. Life is so good, guys. Life is so good. This would be coming out. So it would kind of make this interesting frame. This shot. It would be a very, very interesting frame. Maybe you'd see some of this bottom part. Maybe if I want it to be that way, maybe. Because they're both heading in, right? They're going zoom, zoom. He's like, I want to do the thing. And he's like, maybe he's saying thumbs up. Yeah, he's probably saying thumbs up. Okay, they're also not riding on the rocket. The rocket is like a sub part of it. Important to acknowledge. It's like sitting on a chair, and the rocket's like a below thing, right? Which is good because it does matter in terms of like the energy. So like on this side, it would kind of be like a little smaller. Saddle on a rocket. Pretty much, Zella. Pretty much. Cool. So as per usual, priorities here, it's got to be really cool. It's got to be really cool, right? So we want to make sure everything we're doing is just super cool. Haha, cool. Glad you guys are enjoying the streams, you know. I feel like the past few, I've been really trying to get like refocused, make sure that I'm really using the time wisely. Because initially starting the streams, I definitely wanted to stay kind of like on the ball. Like I wanted it to be a great excuse for me to like stay on my, you know, training, continue really practicing, you know, because it's super easy when you're kind of freelancing and stuff to not put as much effort into fundamentals of your own project. So wanted to prioritize that, make that a big part of my life still. And it's been great. But it's easy to make anything that starts to become repetitive to kind of make it like mundane or a little like oh, you know, okay, well, I'll stream. Like I stream on Friday, so I'll stream on Friday, but wanting to be more intentional about it. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this guy bigger in the frame. So a lot of this close-up information is going to tell us about this information, which we can have be much simpler. You can almost have them be a little bit smaller. And extend out the frame. We kind of want this to extend out the frame in a cool way. To feel really cool. I'm feeling like one of these can almost be vertical. There we go. Oh, that kind of fixed it. That kind of fixed it a little bit, didn't it? So they're flying in. Swing, swing. We got this great energy going on. Kind of splaying out and stuff. And now we need, like, I feel like a thing to do in the distance. That's like way in like a different key. So like maybe they're flying down. There's like they're a boarding party. Maybe you see like another one over here for scale, so you see just how big this thing is. Now you probably want to see another spot. Something very grand. Moth says, the streams are a wonderful place. I'm doing animation homework while watching. So nice. That's great. Maybe he has a sword in his hand and he's like gesturing. Maybe he's got his head down and his arm raised with his sword in hand. Does that make for an interesting line, though? We want it to be cool. TXLR says, I'm just doing some world building. Nice. World building is so fun. Yeah, so here we're doing a lot of kind of found world building. So even this ship that we just placed here, we have to kind of like, as we design the ship, we're also designing the world. So what's possible on the ship has to be possible in your world. And what's possible in your world is good to know while you're designing your ship. Right? Okay, so I can be live for, ooh, we're already close to time. Let's see. Well, we took a design and we are kind of placing it in a world, right? Using keyframe design, explorative keyframe design. So this was fun, I think. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of clouds that are like very they're like almost cartoonish in how like low they are to the ground and how like distinct they are in their forms. And I kind of like that very intense cloud feeling, like stylized cloud feeling. Maybe we want to kind of have that here in a way, right? So we're sketching in these elements. Or maybe there are some cloud elements too that we can kind of include sort of. Let's make sure we're not just adding visual clutter for no reason. So let's say the Zeppelin airship. It's in the sky, right? So it's flying, goes down, most definitely it goes down. Continues out, maybe it continues out in this direction. The other side too. Maybe like a multiple viewing decks. And they get like smaller as they go around, like that kind of cool design. Let's apply some stuff. So maybe there's like some doorways and some kind of rigging happening out front. Maybe there's a rail and the rail is like all going all the way around. You can kind of see the rail. I think it's likely that a ship like this would have like kind of like a very like a nice like deck in the front. Right? So we're just gonna very gently scratch that in. Nothing too crazy. Take our eraser, kind of 50%, to sort of knock it back a little bit. Don't want it to be too obvious. Slight suggestion of like material, right? Oh, HC says I'll have to leave. It's kind of late here. These streams are awesome. Have fun, everyone. Yeah, dude. Thanks for joining briefly. Yeah, I hope you can catch the VOD when it comes out. So what's interesting about what's happening here is that we have a ship traveling in this direction. And what's cool is that visually we're cutting it off. We're cutting it off in both ways. So we are coming in on its trajectory, right? A way to do that completely would maybe be to have like even like another one flying in from here, right? So it completely shows that it's like being descended upon, but that's a little overkill. We don't need to do that. But we can kind of do other things as well. But that's a pretty strong sort of like feature already. I mean, we could have more stuff actually happening over here. We could have a couple more almost like circling around. We want it to feel like bats around a creature, like a whale. Bats are flying around a whale. That's the kind of feeling we're going for, right? And of course, they have like pathways and railings going along the side. You kind of have to have it. It's a airship thing, you know, with all these different kind of units and stuff. And those tertiary details are really, really juicy and nice. Like having cool things like ladders and whatnot. So like if we had like a ladder going up the side of this, showing us this is like a manned vessel that has like function and different opportunities, different things. Like that's what we do sort of towards the end. but we can place a couple just for fun. Mojo says, OMG Gabriel stream. I know it's pretty late, man. I'm not going to be able to stay on for much longer, but just wanted to hop on briefly and just talk about painting, talk about like how to get to an image that you like, that has like purpose and function. So on the front here, what we can do is we can have, basically we can have like cannons, some kind of defense happening. So we can go like, making sure like the, can show one that's like just missed maybe. And we can even have one that's like very like, you almost maybe see the smoke coming like past these guys. So we can have like the smoke kind of going like zoom, like they've shot up but missed. Like strange things, because this is a made up world, so you can kind of have weird made up projectiles that it's firing, right? That's this is some interesting stuff happening here, I gotta say. For book form, so if we're gonna put this in an art book, which we're gonna do, I guess we can just keep it this way. Who cares? It'll open up. Pernish Kate says, it's 1 a.m. here, so unfortunately I can't stick around to watch, but I wish everyone a nice stream. Aw, dude, much love. Sorry we're streaming so late today. Definitely be earlier next time. And yeah, for anyone who's just joining or this is the first time watching the stream, welcome. We just kind of work on cool art stuff, sketch a lot of scribbly sketching. And yeah, stream every Tuesday and Thursday and Friday. So feel free to subscribe, catch those. So what's this going to look like value-wise? Let's drop some values on this bad boy. So first thing we want to do is maybe drop like a higher neutral gray. Just drop it down. Boom. Oh, and let's make a copy of this sketch layer just in case. Bam. Neutral-ish gray, right? We can set the sketch layer to multiply. Haha, peace out. Take care. Or bold framing. That was close. Almost on the wrong layer. Classic. Our intense lighting, right? So the areas of highest contrast are going to be closest to you, usually in a space, unless there's like zero haze and all that stuff. But even then, just with the density of like the air and stuff, things are going to fade. He's got a sword, and we're just like dropping in values. We're not doing anything crazy. I wonder if the sword's even working. That we'll figure it out. Actually, let's do a foreshortened sword. So let's say he's like holding it out like that. Wow. Then we can pull this back. Actually, we could even have this higher, to be honest. Yeah, what if we turned it even more? It's pretty cool. And then on this side, you know, the ship is obviously taking up this amount of space with its big epic sails. This is just value, right? No biggie. And of course, it had highlights and stuff. And then below that, we would actually get pretty light on certain areas. So like maybe some of the cloud areas would be pretty light. You could just kind of like sort of, yeah, like kind of paint those in a little bit. And again, these can be like very cartoonish clouds, you know, nothing too crazy. Just charging in, man. Right? This is cool. This is feeling pretty awesome. If we zoom out, feels pretty distinct. And then in certain areas, we would bring in more light. So around like the windows and stuff, we'd bring in more light here and here, here and here. Bluey the Squirmel. Welcome, Bluey. I don't know if I've seen the chat before. Welcome. We're working on a personal IP I've been working on for a long time. They're just a bunch of sky pirates, and we're basically working out a composition for the attack scene. Or an attack scene. So we've been talking a lot about making images for our worlds and our ideas, and we're kind of doing these very punk-esque pirate designs that I've been working on. There are pirates that live in the sky, and this is a shot of them descending on a poor vessel that they are about to take over. The captain is this kind of grueling, intense individual. But we're trying to bring this idea more out of the sketch world and into the actual like story image world, you know, with their cool airships and whatnot flying all around. You know, we've done like some kind of loose illustration-y stuff for some of the ships, but nothing too crazy. Yeah, so we're working on this image here. Before, what we had was we had a duel scene between two kind of rival factions, this intense illustration. And that's kind of like, we sort of reviewed this, where this came from, and now I'm drawing kind of the same group of bad pirates sort of descending down on a poor, unsuspecting vessel. We'll probably do some other guys too around them as well, but a lot of the story is going to be told through color. So like the ship they're attacking is probably going to be blue, like a blue and gold color. That's like very universally like, hey, we're good guys probably. So we want to have that. That's funny. YouTube emoji. Cool. Cool, man. But yeah, welcome to the stream. I'm not going to be able to stay on for too much longer, guys. I'm so sorry that today was so short, but we can pick this back up another time too for fun. Let's see. We also want to maybe do a couple shadowy areas, right? Some cast shadows. Some cool cast shadows. Well, we can just do that kind of by placing some light in, you know? Kind of like that. Boop, boop, boop. Anything not covered by the big balloon can be a little bit more in the light, which is nice. And then on the top, we can actually probably go pretty light here. Let's see. Yeah. So this is one possible thumbnail, right? Another way to kind of add drama is maybe adding like some other, or to add scale as well as drama. We could sketch in like another ship if we wanted to. This is a pretty fun composition, I gotta say. It's cool. It's pretty darn appealing, if I think. If I do say. And then on the top end, we want to have some of these like cool cannon fires going like. I want things to feel quite juicy, right? So like, you know, classic like. Nice emojis, guys. Very epic. So with these like cannon clouds, we can almost like add some chunky shadows as well, just for fun. Really get that kind of feeling from them. And up close too as well, of course. If we still want to do that idea of like the cannonball firing right in between them. There's also the possibility that we could do it like more up. So like that way it's like kind of creating a cool cross comp element to it, right? Because it's so far away, it's kind of like what you have to do is really make sure that it becomes small enough to be believable that it's coming from all the way up there. So we could do something like that if we wanted to. Bluey the Squirrel asks, what does IDK mean? Means irradiated Donkey Kong. I mean, we could actually have one like blowing up nearby if you want to add some drama. We could have one literally like that's been hit. It'd have the wings and everything. Be lighter though. It's pretty fun. This is a pretty fun comp. Shweow. Bow. Got some explosions happening. Absolute fire. This is actually really fun. This is a fun comp. Ice drink kiwi. So true. So true. So one way to fade everything back is just to drop everything under a nice little bit of haze. So this is line art too. So if we just take kind of like everything excluding what's like right in front, and we want to drop it even farther into the background, which you probably could. We could do it that maybe. And again, this is like super, super rough. But the beginnings of ideas always are. Fade it all back. It's a little too far back, but it's pretty cool. These things are black, then it's be pretty dark. I like the idea that they look almost like butterflies flying in. Like, that's kind of cool. But there's just so many of them. Don't want things to get too cluttered, though. Probably fade this a little. Showing the trail is always cool. Like where they came from and stuff. Cool. This comp needs more work, but for now I think it's pretty fun. So what did we learn? This is very dynamic though. It's like very intense. But like I think it's pretty fun. I like this a lot actually. Cool. Do like all the little guys, you know, all the little guys down here, many of the things, they're like, big. It's like a big ship. This is like a big undertaking to take down the ship. They're like, we gotta charge the, let's get them. Rah. This is very like ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba, like that core, right? Ba ba da ba 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 da ba. All right, I think this is a good place where I can leave it for now. We can pick this up next time for sure, but I think for now this is pretty darn fun. I unfortunately have to run, guys. The stream is a very short one, but I hope we all learned something about kind of like keyframes, ideas. I didn't super talk. This is more of a demo than anything else, and it's super loose. But Let's see, maybe even would adding like a more intense kind of darks help? Not really. It's definitely a daytime intense battle scene, which I love. It's great. I mean, even making the ship maybe head on, or they were like approaching a ship, like that would be cool too. We could try changing the background a few times as well. That's also possible because the camera angle and where they're flying doesn't matter. They're just in the air, so you can choose whatever they're looking at, right? But yeah, guys, we're going to have to call it here. This has been a super fun stream, though. I hope we all learned something. And yeah, I guess I'll do my wrap up. I've never done my wrap up this soon after starting. We've been going for, I think, about an hour. Okay, great. So this is about as much as I wanted to do, much as I could do today. But yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday for sure for more streams. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, guys, little art stream, little composition art stream, glider fun. We took our fun glider guy and turned it into a whole action scene, you know? This is what's possible when we let loose and have some fun. All right, guys. I hope you all have a blessed day. And if you want to catch the next one, definitely subscribe. If you liked the stream, like the stream. Yeah, if you learned anything or you want to see more of X, Y, and Z, definitely drop it in a comment, you know, if you're watching this back. And yeah, see you all in the next one. Peace out, guys. See ya.